Coach Bergin, thank you very much for joining me on this 2022 season preview. Appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy and in great demand at Marietta.
My pleasure. Love doing this. Love talking with you. Love talking D3 soccer.
So, there is an outside chance that on September 7th, I could be at your fair school for the Washington and Jefferson game. I'm going to be around that area on business. There's a lot of things in flux right now. But, I'm just concerned as a Mount Union grad. People know me. I might find some hostility there, which, it's soccer. I totally understand. So, do you think I will blend? Got to give me a second here. No one's got
our team job.
All right, do you think I'll blend? Who's going to know?
No one's going to know.
All right.
At all. And you'll have one of our big fans, David Reese, will be out there. He'll probably find you and buy you a beer.
Nice. All right. Okay. Yes, by the way, this is awesome.
Looking good.
All right, so give me your assessment so far, how your preseason's gone. Like, how are the boys responding? You dealing with the heat?
Yeah, the heat's not been terrible. This is a veteran group that I expected a bit more out of in preseason. I didn't think we'd have to kind of break some of the basics down like we have. So it hasn't been the best preseason that I've had. It hasn't been the worst. And we didn't have that great of a scrimmage the other day, so that's all we only got one scrimmage this year. I couldn't get a second. So we're going to roll right into it in a couple of days. And it's a bit unknown for me. We've had a productive, the boys did come in fit. I give them that. We do a test, it's called 1100. It's kind of grueling. And we had 25 out of our 35 guys that ran the test, and we had a number of guys that were not running the test because of injuries and so forth. But 25 out of the 35 passed all three that we did, which is the highest I've ever had.
Yeah.
So that was good. Veteran guys are fit, ready to go. But got to bring in these new guys. That's always a challenge to get the guys assimilated into the team. So we've had some struggles, and I think we've got to try to figure it out and do some things that we're comfortable with on Thursday, and hopefully get a result on the road.
Yeah. What was it about that you feel like you're behind? Is it just sort of like the soccer aspect of their game if it's not their fitness?
It's definitely the connection between the guys on the field. Now we have two guys coming back from ACL injuries that did not participate in the spring. A third guy coming back from a labrum issue that he did not participate in spring. So we've got to get them. They're like new players essentially, having to get them back in because they've been out for so long. That has been a challenge. I just think it's been tougher to get the boys on the same page this year than it has been in recent years. Now, having said that, we could come out on Thursday and play great. Who knows? It's college soccer at the Division III level.
Yeah.
And we've had exactly 2 weeks of practices before that first game. And I hate that. I could sit in front of the NCAA and say, why can you not give us more time? You talk about this health and safety of the athlete. Well, 2 weeks before the first game is not enough. It really isn't. Then they're going to say, well, you don't need to schedule all the games. Yes, you do. If you want to compete at the regional level and you want to compete for recruits, you got to have 18, 20 games. Yeah. Because other schools are going to do it, and the kid's going to say, well, that school's doing it, I'm going to go play there. So not enough time for us to get ready. But everybody else is in the same boat.
Yeah. It's funny. You're playing by the rules that the NCAA set up. Like I have to do it this way because it's the only way to do it the way you want us to do it, right? Like I think that's the. Let me ask you, your first day of training, sort of what I know you had that midnight madness, which is fantastic. I did ask if it was streamed, and I was politely told no, which kind of I wouldn't have been awake, so it doesn't matter.
I was barely awake.
Yeah.
Every year I do this, I say to myself after it's over, I'm like, I'm not doing that again next year. I have to do it again next year. 'Cause, honestly, the boys get excited about it.
Yeah.
They find it fun. So we
Yeah.
do our fitness test, get it out of the way, and then we just play that first night at midnight.
Yeah.
We're done around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then we don't train again until the next day at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that first night's just playing
Yeah.
after that fitness test. And then you kind of get more into the things,
Yeah.
start to implement things the next day. We try to have a little bit of fun after that fitness test.
Yeah.
But the guys are all talking about it, getting ready to go. They talk about Midnight Madness, and it's directly ripped off from basketball. I mean,
Yeah.
basketball does it every year. So this is not an invention by me whatsoever.
You're not
But-
an original thinker.
But so we did that, got that out of the way, and then we started in earnest the next day, and we did 2-a-days. We had more 2-a-days this year than we had in recent years, just because of the way the class schedules worked out. So that's always tough on players, but it's funny because if you look back earlier decades, you and I, we would go many times, 3 times a day.
Yeah.
I don't know how or why we did that, but we did. I would never do that to my kids. You wouldn't get anything out of the third session. You barely get anything out of the second session. So
I remember there would be a third session if the first 2 weren't up to a certain level, almost like you're expected to then return. And I remember you would do that in that game. You're just sort of like, just let my legs keep going, don't fall down,
Yeah. So 2 are hard, but I think we've got a lot of good work in. Guys are starting to figure it out. We had good moments in the game against Geneva on the weekend. They presented some different issues for us that I don't think we were ready for.
Mm-hmm.
But that's D3 soccer, and so we sort of figured it out. Ended up being a draw, which is fine. The result wasn't terribly important. The performance was, and there were stretches of good soccer. So hopefully we have more of that on Thursday.
Yeah. Were you at home or were you at Geneva?
We were at home, mid-afternoon kick, which wasn't terribly hot.
Yeah.
And the women played before us, and we got out there and got after it, and we had a day off, and then we didn't have anything yesterday because we got lightninged out. I mean, it stormed here all afternoon, so we never did get out to the field.
Yeah.
But I think it was actually good that we didn't get out. We had a good team meeting, went over some film.
Yeah.
There were some productive things. Maybe we'll get more out of that than actually being on the field.
Yeah. All right, so the question, expectations. What are you thinking right now in terms of the season?
Well, it is the OAC doesn't expect much from us, which I'm fine with. They had us tied for 5th, and that, as I've learned in the years, they don't mean a whole lot. They had us in 2nd last year, and we ended up 5th, so it doesn't mean anything. I have expectations because it's a veteran group that we're going to compete regionally and in the OAC. But I thought that last year, and we got wrecked with all the injuries and just didn't get enough done. So this is a good group, good veteran team, good quality leadership, and our captains. We've got, it starts out with Dave Beatty, all-region player, he's center back. Mm-hmm. He's very, very good, and it'll make us tough to score on. We got Gavin Long and Elliot Britton in the midfield. Other 2 co-captains, a couple of kids from the UK. Gav's coming back from that ACL surgery.
Yeah.
It's taking some time, but once he gets going, I feel that he's hungry. He's back for that 5th year.
Yeah.
He lost out much of last year with that injury.
Yeah.
So he's hungry. Elliot's hungry. The boys are hungry. It's just, are we willing to do it day in, day out, consistently to what it takes to compete in the OAC, which is, we've talked, is very, very challenging. Yeah. It's just like it keeps getting better and better. Yeah. And then regionally, we have a tough schedule, which will challenge us. That nothing's going to be easy on any given day, and that's the way it should be, right?
Yeah.
And if we do our jobs, we could have a good year.
Yeah.
But again, it's 18 to 21-year-olds, and they always stay the same age every year, in theory. Yeah. You're always dealing with 18 to 21-year-olds, so you just never know. Sometimes what you get. But I am optimistic. If you came to me on the street and said, "How you gonna do, Coach?" And I would say I'm optimistic that we can have a good performance this year, but I'm just sitting there on the sideline.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
get
yeah.
to do it on the field, and I hope that they're hungry. I don't think we were hungry enough on the weekend, and we're not a good enough team to just turn it on. I said to the boys yesterday, you can't just show up, throw your boots on, and go expect to win. That's not
Yeah,
how it works.
not how it works. No.
So we have to be ready to adjust to things and compete at the regional level. That's
Yeah.
kind of where we sit. We're not a team that I don't expect to be in the top 20. I don't think we're there. I would like to see us get in the regional rankings at some point this year if we continue to do well. But I want us to compete in that NCAA regional rankings. I want us to be able to say, all right, we can get into that situation because our schedule's tough and we're winning
Yeah.
games. We got to win games.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Like you said, right? It's ultimately going to be up to the players to come in and day out and put what it takes, because nothing's going to be handed to you. You know,
No.
like you're not going to get anything for free. Nobody in the OAC for sure is going to give you anything, right? Like,
no, they just assume beat us and
Yeah.
they don't care about Marietta, and that's fine. I
Yeah.
expect that. But the college students got a lot of things going on, and we
Yeah.
got to maintain their focus
Yeah.
on the task because it goes like that.
Yeah,
It'll be
yeah,
gone.
yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
probably sit here and talk in 70 days or so, and the season will just about be over.
Yeah.
That's just the way how quickly it goes. So
Yeah.
be ready day in, day out
Yeah. Yeah.
to perform up to your
It
standards.
it's doable though. Like I see it with a lot of programs. They're
If we
able
can
to.
get on a little bit of a run, then
Yeah.
get that confidence going, then things
Yeah.
can change.
Yeah.
I'm not even worried about the OAC at this moment
Mm-hmm.
because I know it's there. It's looming on the horizon. It's going to be very hard. I got to worry about Chatham on Thursday. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I don't let the boys worry about the OAC. You can't worry about that stuff. You got to worry about your game every day because if
Yeah.
you want to have even a remote shot
Yeah.
of getting an at-large bid if you don't win your title,
Yeah.
you gotta go have a good record in non-conference.
Yeah.
You can't have any stinkers. So
Yeah.
that's been kind of the focus is we got to bring it every night.
Yeah.
And our program's history recent years is always throw a stinker out here or there and just lose a game that we shouldn't lose.
Shouldn't. Yeah. No.
And the boys need to understand that.
Yeah.
And we've been preaching that all camp, all the 2
Yeah.
weeks we've been
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So we'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
You don't see. You don't see the Ohio Wesleyans, the John Carrolls, the Otterbeins. Like you
Nope.
don't see those guys. Ohio Wesleyan. You don't see those guys. They might not have great games, but they're
they still
winning.
win.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not going 14-4
Yeah.
for nothing. I mean, they're winning games they're expected to win, and then
Yeah.
they get the results when they're not at their best.
Yep.
And we have not done that
Yeah.
in my time here. This is year number 10. We've done it on occasion,
Yeah.
but not consistently throughout the season. So
Yeah.
it's another opportunity.
Yeah. So maybe you could take a moment just to talk about your incoming class and sort of what does that look like, who some of those players are, and I think probably more importantly, are you expecting like production out of those guys?
Yeah. We've got a class of 11 if you count the transfer that came in from the spring.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about normal for Marietta. That might be a little bit more. You get to some places where you got 25 guys. That's not what I do here.
Yeah.
So this 11, and then we lost one of my guys who won the starting spot in the spring and played very well in that spring game as a center back. Got hurt the night before camp opened up, high ankle sprain. So he's been not even trained yet.
Yeah.
So a freshman has stepped into that role, Sam Holthouse. Sam is from the Cleveland area, good club background, good high school background, and he has stepped in and done a phenomenal job to date.
Mm-hmm.
Big 6'2" kid, winning balls out of the air. Plays alongside of that all-region player, Dave Beatty. They seem to mesh well together.
Mm-hmm.
So Sean Fournier, who had that role, is still going to be out for another week plus. So Sam's got an opportunity to make this his and do it well.
Yeah.
Got another guy named Lee Miller. He's an Ohio Galaxies kid, really good program. Played for Centerville High School, state runner-ups. He's done very well in camp. He started at left back the other day because we held our starter out, just a quad injury. but he's going to pop up in a couple of different places and get a lot of minutes. He
Mm-hmm.
really will. We got another kid, Tyler Rossborough, kid out of Pittsburgh, that was really kind of an unknown. He's Riverhounds kid. We had never really seen him play. We never seen him play live. He's come in and impressed in multiple positions. So there are guys that are going to make impacts, and there's other guys on the list. I hate to even mention any of them because you're always leaving somebody out.
Yeah.
But the other guys are going to make impacts off the bench as well.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the three guys that have impressed the most in camp as freshmen.
Yeah.
And it's hard to adjust to the game. And they'll tell you it's more physical, it's faster. And once they start playing games, it just comes at you back to furious.
Yeah. You can't slow it down, right?
No.
Like it's not going to slow down for you.
Nope.
All right. Now, conversely, I mean, you mentioned Dave Beatty and Gavin Long, which I think the Gavin Long I thought is going to be huge in the midfield, right? Like if he comes back and he's healthy,
Yes.
and ready to roll, which is critical for you. But what about your upperclassmen and aside from those two, are you expecting anyone else to sort of step up and probably more and take that leadership by the reins?
Well, we got one other guy, Elliot Britton. He's going to play our 6.
Mm-hmm.
He's a 3-year starter for us. He's one of our captains as well, a kid from the UK. He does a real good job of controlling things in the midfield. Winning balls, hard-nosed tackler, doesn't take anything from anybody. So I expect big things out of him. I'm real curious, and I'll bring him up because he's just a big, strong 9. So Taj Hyder. Taj can do a job for us. If he does what we think he can do, we're going to be successful scoring goals. But he's a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in a bit unknown because he played a fair bit last year off the bench, but he's got a starting role right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm real curious to see what he does. And and whenever I get into these things, I always feel like I'm leaving somebody out. As I'm sitting here in my head thinking about this, I want to not mention Caden Ferguson, another 3-year starter. He's playing our 8, big strong kid from the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah.
That should score goals for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got guys that can do it. Will they be able to do it? How do they encounter some of the defenses we're going to see? This team is, like I said, it's a veteran team.
Yeah.
Getting playing time as a freshman is going to be a real special player this year because he does so much. So upperclassmen, there's a lot of them are going to be counted on. We lost a couple of starters from last year, so we return an awful lot. That will step right back in. Looking forward to seeing Joey Backhouse in goal. He's won that spot in camp. We've got a couple other guys fighting for that number 2. Joey, he can be a good goalkeeper for us. He got those freshman mistakes out of the way last year, and there was a couple of them that just drive me as an ex-goalkeeper and you as an ex-open nuts. But that happens as freshmen.
Yeah.
But it's because we'll find out here pretty soon.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not a bad position to be because it doesn't sound like you're worried about, I have no idea where the goals are going to come from. Like you have guys who can produce the goals. Are they showing up at the right times?
Yep. I mean, we return our leading scorer. That's Reggie Graham from last year.
Yeah.
He was another ACL injury. So he is finding his form. He's lightning fast.
Yeah.
So that creates problems. You just can't teach speed. So I expect him to be right up there with our goals again as well. So, yes, we have guys that can score goals, and we have guys that can provide that service for the goals. And I like our defense. But what's going to happen when we encounter something that we're not ready for or
comfortable with?
Or we just get the snot kicked out of us the whole game, which is what happened.
Yeah.
How we react to that.
Yeah. All right. Hey, because I know it's crazy now, but last for you is, and you talked about a little bit about it, but like what do you think if you're worried about something that's not so much on the soccer field, like, is there anything that you think is your biggest challenge with them? Is it the mentality? Is it their ability to be consistently good? Do you have anything like that?
I'd say it's bring it day in and day out, bringing that same level of intensity
Mm-hmm.
for every day, for every game. We have we built this program around a very blue collar mentality, and that's gone away a little bit the last couple of years because we've got a bit more finesse and a bit more flair who aren't typically blue collar guys.
Yeah.
But that blue collar group that was there that started this rebranding, rebirth,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it, of Marietta, they brought it every day. They
Yeah.
may not have been as talented as some of the guys I have now,
Yeah.
but they brought that mentality every single day. So I've got to get them to understand that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I like to bring in outside guests to talk to the team.
Yeah.
And I want to bring in a couple of those guys from that group that,
Yeah.
hey, you guys have no idea what it was like when this whole thing started. When we practiced down at the baseball parking lot area,
Yeah.
when we played on a grass field, when we didn't have the nice locker room.
Yeah.
We just got after it day in and day out.
Yeah.
And I need our guys to understand it's not always been as nice as it is right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
A certain level of expectation that we have as a program to the players that are here today to honor the guys that came before us that put a lot of the hard work in,
Yeah.
and even honor the guys back in the 80s when we played,
Yeah.
because it's their program too.
Yeah.
They get excited about wins. I get all sorts of messages via social media when we're doing well.
Yeah.
And then I get less, but I still get messages, hey, what's going on? Why aren't you winning games? Well, crap, if I knew, I'd be a genius. I just don't know sometimes.
The I I think if there were a way to gauge, I am sure not only Marietta, it's all the schools, like all the soccer guys who've been a part of a program. A lot more people stay in tune to how their team is doing because they put something into it, right? And there's an expectation that somebody's going to carry where they left off, and and that's what makes it fun for me now is just to sort of watch and be like, oh, what are they doing now? Are they better? Are they worse? So
Yep. It's a cyclical game, right? Because
yeah.
college can go up and down.
Yep.
The good programs, the Ohio Wesleyans, the John Carrolls of the world, they're going to be good consistently.
Yeah.
But Marietta, who hasn't had a lot of history of success,
Yeah.
can we maintain things and can we finally break through?
Yeah.
It's fine to say we make the playoffs. We've done it 8 years in a row. Good for us. Because that was a big deal for us when we started this whole journey. But those guys that started it, and my guys today, and even myself, we kind of get caught in. We want to break through to the next level.
Yeah.
What does that next level take? And don't know if we've figured that out yet.
Yeah.
And I hope we do this year.
Yeah. Well, very good. Well, I will be watching, possibly even on September 7th.
I hope to see you. We'll
will
get some dinner afterwards, a late dinner, because that'll be a good battle against W&J. It's always a good game. They've come in here and smacked us before, so we have to be ready for that one. So
I will be.
That's coming soon.
Yeah. I wish you, your men, all the best this season, and I'll be, don't tell anybody. I'll be cheering from New Jersey.
There's a lot of Jersey alums there that are there with you, but I know that when we play Mount and Krems later in the season, that'll be a tough one for you. I expect you to be cheering for your school.
Okay. Thanks for that reprieve.
Yeah. I appreciate all you do for D3 soccer. It's great. Everybody that you talk to and then I talk to them, they all love it.
Oh, thank you.
Keep going because, promoting the game that we all love.
Yeah.
And that some of us are fortunate enough to make a living in. It's just really cool what you got. What you do. I know you're not making much money off of this, if anything at all. It might be costing you money.
Yeah.
But you do it because you love the game.
Yeah. That doesn't matter. It's the last thing in my mind. But I just enjoy it, and I realize how many good guys are in the game, right? And that's the important thing, like yourself. Like, it just, I always say, like, if our future in soccer rests on guys like you and all these guys who work anonymously out there doing their thing day in and day out, I think we're headed in the right direction. So
a lot of great folks out there in this
Yeah.
business. A lot of great folks in the OAC.
yeah.
I just like to beat some of them.
Look,
I go have a beer with them afterwards. Happy to do
good.
that.
I will say, like, and he totally understands it. Like, you have to beat John Carroll. Like, I'm rallying the OAC, to
Yeah,
at least,
Dahan gets it. I mean, he's at the top of the thing.
Yeah,
Them
yeah.
and Jason and Otterbein, and you got to watch Chris at Northern this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. This
Yeah,
year
yeah.
is like every other year going to be a grind, but it could be a real battle. And I'd like Marietta to be in that consideration today. As of the poll, we're not.
Yeah.
Fine. Right.
You know
Let us
what?
know
That's
how to get it done.
I was actually going to ask you about the poll because I looked at it and then I looked at the standings last year and I was like, did they just copy the standings at the end
Pretty
of the
close,
year?
isn't it? Yeah, I mean, we used to as a group just take that and use it as the thing. We all wanted to vote.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to see what coaches think.
Yeah.
But we've got a month to go before we even really start to think about the
Yeah,
OAC.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Go get Chatham or Chilton, whoever you're.
Chatham. We got Chatham on Thursday.
Yeah.
Really
Go
cool
get
stadium we get to play in. I'm looking forward to that. It's
Yeah.
downtown Pittsburgh, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's an old school stadium. That'll be fun. So
All right.
the boys should hopefully be ready to go for that.
All right.
I
All right,
officially
Coach.
put your dog to sleep. She's
Yeah.
out.
Oh, totally. You know why? She's like, you got this. Like, she's confident. Like, she knows I got this. And then
She's got no worries in the world.
no. I switch spots with her anytime. Like, I always offer, you want to talk? No. She's like, no, I'll
Nope.
sleep. So.
That's going to happen.
All right,
All right.
Coach. Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
Yep, thanks.